back in the prehistoric days, I didn't have Wi-Fi, so I couldn't watch YouTube, but we did have cable, and let me tell you, I really loved watching TV, alright? Like, I watched that shit all the time. I watched Nickelodeon, I watched Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, so many other channels, but there is one channel that really stands out from the rest, alright? And that is Animal Planet. And for a good long while, I loved watching Animal Planet, alright? Animal Planet, Discovery Channel, two great channels, alright? They showed animals, they talked about animals. It was great. It was fucking fantastic. You mix documentaries with animals and hey, you got me hooked, alright? You're gonna tell me information about, the cougar? Hey, I'm gonna watch the entire 30 minutes to find out every single little detail about the goddamn cougar. But, unfortunately, Animal Planet went through a phase where it was like, yeah, we don't really care about the animals anymore, so we're gonna really care about live TV, live reality TV, and we all know how good those can be. So, unfortunately, I got very bored very quickly of Animal Planet because it was surprisingly human. But I would be a huge liar if I said I never loved watching reality TV shows, alright? There's some good reality TV shows out there that, still hold close to my heart to this day. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Animal Planet had one good one. They had several, but we're going to be talking about one specific one that really kicked it off for me, ladies and gentlemen. And that show being Call of the Wildman. Call of the Wildman was first aired on October 30th, 2011, which means I was 11 years old when that show first came up. And let me tell you something here, ladies and gentlemen. Every Sunday at 10 o'clock, I would sit my 11-year-old ass down to watch Mr. Turtleman wrangle up some critters, alright? Those goddamn raccoons, those turtles, snapping turtles, sometimes some bigger creatures like a kangaroo. Hey, I watched that shit every fucking Sunday. It became a very religious thing in my household to watch Call of the Wildman every Sunday in the living room, alright? And this was so for many other Americans because this show was extremely popular. So popular, it made Animal Planet a lot of fucking money, alright? To the point where they decided to have 4 seasons. And you might be saying, well, Mr. Rigozen, if it were so popular, we'd probably have more seasons. And you're absolutely right. But unfortunately, it dealt with controversies, which eventually took down the show overall. It got it canceled. But we're going to be talking about that later on. Each 30-minute long episode contained 2 missions, and I call them missions, but essentially what a mission is someone calling in on Turtleman to try to get rid of a pesky animal that's causing a ruckus in their abode, their household, their residence. Now, like with any good show, with any good plot, there has to be good characters, some good character building, alright? And we got some 2 very interesting characters, alright? So we got Ernie Brown Jr., also known as Turtleman, this star of the goddamn show, alright? There is literally nothing on this entire goddamn planet that will stop Turtleman from jumping in a feces-infested pool to capture a goddamn snapping turtle. The only weakness Turtleman has in this life is the wretched skunks, alright? That man has been stankified by the goddamn skunks ever since he was a child, alright? So whenever skunks were part of the equation, he was like, oh, hell no, I don't want to deal with that shit. I don't want to deal with that shit no more. No, Neil, go get him. Go get him, Neil. I don't want to deal with that shit. And of course, with every great hero, there is always a great sidekick. And that sidekick was Neil James, alright? Also known as Banjo Man. He was always there right beside Turtleman, alright? He is his right-hand man. Whenever Turtleman needed help, Neil was always there to help. Lend a hand, give some advice, try to, talk about the situation with the customers. He's a very, very helpful individual. And to get a little serious here, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, Neil passed away last year on February the 1st due to natural causes. Now, let me tell you how the show was structured, alright? I had to make sure I got this right. I had to watch the first episode of Call of the Wildman, alright? And I say it as if I had to, but I wanted to, alright? I wanted to go back to the good old days of 2011 to feel like a child once again, watching the legendary Turtleman wrangle up all the bad critters that are causing so much trouble. So you got the intro, right? I probably already showed you the intro. There's really nothing to talk about there besides the announcer. I think it's how you say it, right? The announcer likes to talk a lot in the show overall, which I have no problem. You know, he gives out very important and very necessary information about the creatures that Turtle Man is dealing with right now.
Rat snakes prey on small rodents and are not venomous to humans, but they can be aggressive, and their bites can be painful and dangerous.
Put them in there. Yeah.
Every episode usually started off with Neil and Turtle Man driving down a road in their red little pickup truck, while Neil explains to Turtle Man what the mission is, what the objective is. That kind of reminds me of GTA 5, you know, whenever you're driving to a mission, someone's talking about it, you know, someone in the, the back seat or right beside you. It's kind of interesting how the show is structured. Alright, like, the more you see it, the more you realize it was kind of for the younger audiences who are really into video games, alright? Like, I just realized that now, like, having to look back into the clips and shit like that, I was like, whoa, that's kind of interesting. I never noticed that until now. Cool. But after a vague explanation from Neil, they go to the premises, and a objective pops up on the screen. Objective, capture this creature. Objective, do this, do that. Very interesting. But of course, the show wouldn't be interesting if Turtle Man didn't have to do some detective work. And detective work he did, ladies and gentlemen. He went around looking for, rat shit, raccoon shit, possum shit. If the creature shits, Turtle Man is gonna have his fucking face all over it, making sure he checks every single corner of the goddamn building to see where the critter could be. Then after a thorough investigation, he deducts, yes, it is this creature, and this creature will be in this area. And they will go to that area expecting to see that creature. Sometimes he was wrong, but for the most part, he was right, ladies and gentlemen. He was right on target. And then here comes the suspenseful part. He has to capture the creature. Sometimes the creature puts up a fight. Sometimes the creature runs away from Mr. Turtle Man. But Turtle Man, he ain't no bitch. Unless it's a skunk. Then he becomes a absolute bitch. But he still gets the job done. He captures the critter, alright? He goes around, gets him by the fucking neck, shakes him a little bit, and then puts him in the fucking bag, and then calls it a day. Did I also mention that he likes to capture creatures with his bare hands? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he doesn't use traps. He doesn't use expensive materials to try to capture these vile creatures. No, this man, Mr. Turtle Man, uses his bare hands to tame the beast, which makes the entire show even that more interesting and very exciting. And then after a good long suspenseful fight, the creature is finally tamed, it has been defeated, and he bags the critter and then presents it to the customer. And they applaud him, they scream at him in joyous applause. And of course, after completing the mission, he is given a reward. For the most part, he's given money, but sometimes he's given money and some supplies. Which is really funny though, because that really does remind me of like Skyrim. Whenever I was playing Skyrim, sometimes you got money, but you also got, materials and shit like that. Also Fallout 4, I mean, honestly, any Bethesda game. So you get money and you also get some cool weapons. But of course, I think Turtle Man did get some weapons here and there. I think he got like a rifle once. Pretty sure he got a knife. Pretty sure he got like several knives. But for the most part, yeah, he gets money or food. Food, yeah, yummy. I want some food right now, I'm not gonna lie. So that's essentially how the show worked. He was called in, he showed the objective, he does the objective, and then he gets the reward. Very, very simple to follow, but very entertaining at the same time. And as a child, I ate that shit up, alright? I really fucking loved Call of the Wildman. But of course, as the old saying goes, all good things must come to an end. So I thought it was a good thing. Apparently, there's been some controversy with Call of the Wildman, saying that it was highly scripted. Around 90% of it, which I'm not necessarily surprised now, seeing how reality TV works, which is not reality, but more scripted reality, which I guess, I don't know what you call that, but I guess you call it reality TV, but it's not reality, if that makes sense. But the biggest issue with the show, which essentially got it canceled, was abuse of animals, the mistreatment of animals. There have been some allegations that they've drugged animals. They've actually captured said creature that was in that facility beforehand and then placed it in that scenario for Turtle Man to capture, to wrangle up, which causes a lot of stress here and there. There have been some very infamous episodes of which a lot of people look towards, and it's like, yeah, that's pretty fucked up. But for an 11-year-old, I didn't even know that shit was going on, alright? Like, again, I didn't have Wi-Fi, so I had no idea. I think a lot of people had no idea. Like, only people who really cared about the animals, which, you know, I'm not saying that to clown on you, really did care, which is good. But, of course, essentially, all the allegations, you know, just caused a perfect storm, which, of course, ended the show Call of the Wildman. How extremely unfortunate. But in the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I will never forget Turtle Man. I will never forget Turtle Man's famous yodel. I think it's called a yodel. He just goes yee yee yee, but he does it way better. Obviously, he does it 100% better. All right, and then of course when he captures a creature, it's like live action. I mean, that shit was pretty cool. All right, like he was doing every single child's dream of like wrangling up critters with his bare hands. That's pretty fucking cool. All right, for an 11-year-old, even to this day, for a 20-year-old, I still found it to be very cool and entertaining at the same time. Of course, there were some moments where I was like, that didn't really age well, but I still had fun watching, and I was very entertained. But what do you guys think about Call of the Wildman? Do you remember watching that show? Have you ever seen that show? If you've never seen that show, have you never had the privilege of watching Call of the Wildman? I highly suggest you go and watch an episode of Call of the Wildman. Just search it up and look at a video. It's really, really fucking great. But with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have to say for this great video. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification to be notified of my next upload. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.